Just want to share a little bit with you today about a technique that will help make your training a little bit easier in the long run, keep you in the game, keep you healthier longer. It's called self-myofacial release. It's a fancy term basically for deep massage. And the tool that we primarily use for that is called foam roll. Maybe you've seen these before. It's about 6 inches in diameter. This particular one is about a foot in width. They come out to 18, even 36 inches for a larger model. This is a standard density, closed foam type unit. You can get them harder, where they're almost more like a really dense styrofoam, and those have a tendency to massage a little bit deeper into the muscle tissue. In a moment I'll be showing you how we use this, but to give you an idea of what it does for you, the stress on your muscles actually creates a situation called an adhesion, or a nodule, or whatever you want to call it. And you've probably felt it before, where there's a particular point in a muscle where if you were to touch it, it's tender. And what that is as the body undergoes stress, it forms this adhesion as a response to that. And as it does that, picturing these as the muscle fibers, it puts the muscle fibers out of alignment. The muscle fibers kind of form around the adhesion, and that actually shortens the muscle fibers, which cuts down on flexibility and mobility. So what we want to do is, through this deep massage on the muscle itself, is start to break down that adhesion. And as it breaks down and the blood flow carries away the adhesions, bits and pieces as it were, then the muscle fibers themselves will start to lengthen out again and come more into alignment, so that the muscle is the way that it's supposed to be, nice long fibers giving you better flexibility and making a little bit more pain-free as well in certain areas, cutting down on things like cramps. So I'm going to show you here in just a moment exactly how we go about doing that. We'll start at the lower part of the body and work our way up. Okay, to begin with, we're going to start, again, as I said before, in the lower part of the body. We're going to start with the calves. Now, your calves take a lot of stress. You're walking on them all day, sometimes jumping around, whatever, and that puts a lot of stress on them. So what we want to do is start right down behind the heel on the ankle. All right. To start with, we can keep one foot flat on the ground. We'll start with our right leg and move up the calf slowly, kind of rolling back and forth a little bit. Alright. What we're doing here is we're looking for an area of tenderness. So we don't want to just keep rolling back and forth all day. We want to kind of move it into a position where we find we're the most tender. Let's say I think I got one like right there. Okay. Once I find it, I want to camp out right there. I want to stay right on that spot for a few moments and let the massage take its effect. And what it's going to do is it's going to cause the muscle fibers to start to relax, and that'll put the pressure on the adhesion, and hopefully then what we're looking for is the adhesion to start to break up. Now, this isn't a one-time thing. I can't do this once and get immediate results. Foam rolling is really not for our instant gratification culture. It's really for those that are a little bit more enduring and a little more patient, and understand that it took a while to get this way. It's going to take a little while to get it better. So you want to stay there for a little while. And what we're looking for is we'll start to feel the muscle to get into a relaxed state. And as it does that, and you start actually feeling a little bit better, then you might want to move on so you can create more pain. So we're going to move up the calf, see if there's any other spots. We're going right there, and I'm going to stay right there. Okay. Now, if I'm not able to put enough pressure on just with the weight of my leg like this, because I have a lot of my weight back here on my hands, what I might want to do is take my other leg and cross it over. Now, that's going to put quite a bit more pressure. It's going to be a little bit more intense. Now, the thing about foam rolling is it's going to hurt. All I can say about it. If you're doing it right, when you first do it, you might feel like you want to clench your teeth and even have tears roll down your face if it's bad enough. But that means you're getting a spot you've got to work on. And as you hold it, and it's never going to get any worse than the first moment you put the pressure. I can tell you that right now. So as you hold it, it's going to start to relax, to feel a little bit better, and then eventually you'll get to the point where it'll almost kind of numb out on you. You won't feel it so much. So then at that point, I got to move on. I got to look for another spot. Maybe I come up further on the calf and I find another spot. The other thing I might need to do is work to the outside. Now, in the calf, we got two different muscles. We have the gastrocnemius and we have the soleus. The soleus is on the outside, and it takes a lot of stress. So right now I'm kind of on the gastroc. I'm kind of in the main body of the calf, the larger of the two muscles. And, I'm feeling a little bit there, but if I roll out like this onto the soleus, now I might start to feel something out here, okay? I might really find some things out here that need a little bit of attention. And again, when I find it, I just want to camp out and hold it, okay? Now, what I'm going to do from that point, after I work that calf, I got a choice. I can jump over to the left leg, I can keep working up the right leg, then do everything over on the left leg. I'm going to keep working on the right leg because I got the foam roll here in place. So I'm going to start to roll up the hamstring. All right, and what you'll oftentimes find is where the most stress is, and this shouldn't come as any surprise, is right around a joint. So the higher part of the calf here, the lower part of the hamstring. You might even find that as you turn over onto your side, that you get a little bit in here on the sides of the knees, where there's a little bit of stress, and then you're actually working at the tendons a little bit there, and that's okay because you want those areas as well. Okay, so I'm going to roll in to the hamstring. Look for any areas there. When I find them, again, I'm going to hold. Okay? Now from the hamstring, I'm going to go ahead and move to the outer part. It's called the IT band. All right? So after I've rolled all the way up the hamstring, okay, and finding any spots, I'm going to take it right on up to where my glutes start, and then I'm going to stop. So that's about the high point right there. Right at the bottom of the glute, top of the hamstring. All right? Again, if there's anything there, I'm going to hold it and let it start to release. Then from there, again, like I say, we go to the IT band. So now we come back down to the top of the side of the knee, actually, and we start to work our way this direction, okay? Work our way up the side. Oftentimes you'll find something right about midpoint on the IT band. And again, I'll just hold it, and that pressure will start to decrease a little bit. Might take 30 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever. The good news is as you go on, as you do foam rolling more and more, you'll find that you're actually feeling better, that the adhesions are breaking down, and you actually spend less time doing it. So the pain is the most intense at the start of the hold, at the start of doing foam rolling in general, and the amount of time that you got to invest in it is the greatest at the beginning. So it's definitely an increasing returns, as it were, or diminishing returns, if you want to call it that, diminishing time, diminishing pain, might be a better way to put it, okay? Now, from the outer side of the thigh, I might work into the inner, in which case I'll start at the knee again, and I'll just start to roll down, back and forth till I find something, or may not, and again, holding. If I need to put more pressure, I'll just kind of pick up this leg a little bit more, try to put more weight on that. You don't usually need too much. A little bit of pressure usually does it. Okay? So from that point, I've done the calf, I've done the outer, I've done the inner, and now I'm going to work into the glutes. Okay? So at this point, I would probably go ahead and do my right leg, and you'll see why in a minute. I'm sorry, my left leg, because I've already completed the right leg. I do the calf, the IT band, the inner part, then I work to my glutes. And the reason for that is because you're really only moving back and forth here, so you're not really working an individual leg. So I'll go ahead and start on the left side here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down low at the very lower part of the glute. Notice I have my leg kind of tilted this way. It's usually not in the middle, it's usually toward the outer part of the glute. The glutes act as a hip flexor, so anything you're doing where you're bending and moving up and down is going to put a lot of stress on those. Okay? So as I start from the lower part, if I find an area, again stopping, pausing there, then I'll continue to move down right into the side of my hip. And there's a little muscle there called the piriformis, and it's oftentimes very tender. So when I find that, I'll just put pressure on that, again leaning to that side a little bit. And after I've done that, of course, I'm going to switch over to my right side and do the same thing. Okay? Now from this point, we would start to work into our upper body, and I'll show you those movements in just a moment. Okay, as we work into the upper body, what you're going to find as we start going above the waist is it might be a good idea to tuck your shirt in, because what it has a tendency to do is wrap around the foam roll and get in your way. So I got my shirt tucked in because I'm going to start right here at the lower back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get it in position, feet flat on the ground, still taking some of the weight. And I'm going to move my hands up across my chest like this. And I'm going to work it back and forth from the top of my glutes where we left off before. to about the top of the lumbar region, which is right in here, about the mid-back. Okay. Now just rolling back and forth is probably going to feel pretty good doing this. If I find a spot, like say there, I'll stop and just kind of let it dig in a little bit, okay? Because that's going to help relieve that pressure. Now from that point, now I'm going to work my way up the back. And as I do that, what I want to do, again, starting at about mid-back, this time what I want to do is take my hands, cross them over like this, touching my shoulders, elbows up, because what that does is it opens up the back, the scapula, the shoulder blade muscles can become apart a little bit, move toward the outer parts of the body so that you can access the muscles that are between them. So doing this, I'm actually moving the shoulder blades apart, kind of almost focus on putting your elbows closer together and roll back and forth so you feel it working into those muscles in there. And I'm going to just roll. Go ahead and relax. You should relax through the whole thing, but especially relax right here. Just enjoy the back massage until you find that point of pressure of adhesion. And once you've got that right there, then you're going to want to hold it. And really focus on bringing those elbows together as much as you can so that the scapula separate, and really hold that spot. And again, until it starts to release a little bit, which you'll feel. You want to hold it, and then come off the roll like that. And now we're going to keep moving up. Now, after I do my back, what I usually do is start to work my way back in toward the midpoint of the body. I'll start right out at the wrists and work my way down the forearm. So at this point, I will just get into a position like this because I can kind of lean into it with the rest of my body. Again, I don't need a lot of pressure. It's not a big muscle group. It's not very deep and not very far below the skin either. So it's real easy to get into that area. You can just roll it back and forth. If you have any kind of like carpal tunnel-like symptoms, any wrist pain or anything like that, you might feel a little bit in here. And as we work our way toward the elbow again, coming toward the joint, we're probably going to find a little bit more area of stress. So as I move in there, I want to kind of position myself and start feeling for some areas right close to the elbow here on either side of it. And if I find it again, I'm going to wait and spend some time there. And then I'll move to the other side of the elbow, the upper arm side of it. And the triceps a little bit here. I can roll, look for a spot. As soon as I feel one, I'll stop right there. Okay. From there, reposition myself a little bit more again, and get my shoulder onto the foam roll. So I'll need to get the foam roll moved this way a little bit, so it's shortened up right here and gives me a little bit more here so I can get into that deltoid muscle in the shoulder. What I want to do is extend the arm as straight as I can. A little awkward in this position, but do the best you can. And if I find a spot, like say like right there, then I'm going to wait. Okay. And from there, from the shoulder, we start moving down into the back, into the lats, the latissimus dorsi, the V-shaped muscles of the back. And what we find is with those, is the lats are one of those muscles that work on the shoulder area. So if you've got any kind of shoulder impingement, any mobility issues in the shoulder, you might find it's because you have adhesions or stress in the lat muscles. So a good way to get to that is to start where you left off, right kind of on the low part of the shoulder there. You start to work your way just like that. So your body is on its side, arms straight out, and you'll feel that muscle. You'll roll right across the scapula, just below the muscle itself, and right down the back. And when you get to the rib cage, you're going to want to stop. You don't really want to put a lot of pressure on your rib cage. Chances are you're not going to have any issues there, and you don't want to bruise your ribs. So try to keep it up just below the shoulder. And again, we find it, and camp out right there. All right. Areas that I don't foam roll, like I said a moment ago, rib cage, no real need. I don't typically work on the front If your chest is a little sore, you could use it a little bit. You got to be a little careful. It's a little bit awkward. You can get into a position like this. I find that it's just really difficult to get at the pecs pretty much with the foam roll. I can maybe turn it like this and work on a little bit like that. But typically, I don't do that area, and I don't do anything else on the front of the torso, like abs or anything like that. I'm pretty much focusing on the lower body, the whole thing, my back, shoulders, and also my arms, especially in the elbow area where you take a lot of stress from playing sports, from working, or from lifting. Those are areas that typically you really want to focus on the most. So hopefully you found this to be informative. This is a great tool to have. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there's other things you can use. This is a street hockey ball. You can use a lacrosse ball, any type of a smooth, hard ball. I can use that for certain areas, like if I want to get on the side of my leg here. Now this is going to be intense because this is a lot harder than that is. So you might want to do that very carefully. Another area you can use it with a foam roll really wouldn't give you very much use would be under the foot. So you could sit in a chair or sit on the floor and kind of work a little bit of under the foot action here, which is kind of like reflexology. Start working on some of these areas and you find the foot starts to feel a little bit more relaxed. Again, your feet take a lot of stress, your calves, your ankles, from standing, walking, climbing stairs, running, anything you might do during the day. And the heavier a person is, of course, the more stress that your body takes. So this isn't a skinny guy or skinny girl kind of thing. This is for everybody. So again, this is a little bit more intense. This is a better place to start. You can pick one of these up. Target has them, and I believe they run around about $22. Come with a real good DVD too. You can get them mail order, Amazon, any place like that. So something definitely good to look for. Also, sporting goods stores, of course, usually carry foam rolls as well. So a real good investment for around $20 or so. I would definitely highly recommend that you start to use the foam roll and self-myofascial release.